Tonight, there's a debate over the new 5G network.
Yeah, and Molly McCullum is tracking the story for us. And Molly, some say the improved technology could actually impact the forecast.
That's absolutely right. It all has to do with bandwidth and satellites. I spoke with an expert from the University of Georgia's Atmospheric Science program about how it could make predicting the weather harder than it has to be. Take a look. Last year, the United States experienced a historic deadly hurricane season. This year, a record-breaking severe weather season. Both were extremely well forecast by meteorologists. The ability to produce accurate forecasts could be affected by something you use every day, and that's cell phones. But the basis of those accurate forecasts is something you're surrounded by every day, and that's water vapor. Meteorologists detect water vapor in the atmosphere using satellites, the frequency the FCC plans to use for the much-anticipated 5G cellular network transmits a signal that's very similar to what water vapor looks like to scientists.
We see information from weather satellites all the time, if they're hurricanes or severe storms, but a lot of people may not realize that the models use weather satellite data as well, things like temperature and water vapor. Those go into the models and produce forecasts that we use in our day-to-day lives.
Dr. Marshall Shepard, director of the University of Georgia's Atmospheric Science program and former research meteorologist for NASA, explains the consequences of data contamination from the 5G signal.
If we are contaminating the water vapor signature with the 5G signal, our model may actually think it's garbage in, garbage out, as they say, and will produce a less accurate forecast.
Not only would day-to-day forecasts potentially be affected, but also high-impact forecasts like the ones made for hurricanes. Many people are familiar with the European weather model and the infamous Superstorm Sandy prediction that it made.
European model, one of the best models in the world, told us 9 days out that Superstorm Sandy was going to make a hard left. The Europeans did an analysis that suggested when they removed satellite data, their forecast was less accurate. And so imagine if we start to degrade that same information because of the 5G contamination that we are thinking that we're going to see.
Neil Jacobs, the acting head of NOAA, recently told Congress 5G interference could set the accuracy of weather forecasts back 40 years.
We need to move forward into a 5G realm for sure, but we also have to think carefully about some of these unintended consequences on the weather forecast in our enterprise.
You know, during hurricanes, we always talk about, and you showed in your story, that cone of uncertainties. Does that mean with the 5G, could it have to be larger?
It's very possible, and you think about the improvements that forecasts have made over the last 10 to 20 years. If you set back that 40 years, I mean, just think of what could happen.
And I don't know if everybody else realizes this. When I first started working in the news, I mean, I guess maybe this is obvious, but I mean, there's actually a team of scientists, you guys, the meteorologists, that rely on this data to make those forecasts. These are not numbers just pop out by a machine.
Right.
So any kind of variation in that data, to Dr. Shepard's point, could change things dramatically.
And if we lose water vapor, I mean, that's the basis of weather.
Yep.
So it would make a big difference.
And on the other hand, people say the 5G technology will mean that we'll be able to download a movie in 10 seconds as opposed to 10 minutes.
Oh, there's no doubt that we need to move into the 5G realm. I mean, there's no question about that. It's just how we're going to do that by still being responsible with our forecasting abilities.
That's true. Lives are at stake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really.